I'm Sherry Lucas, and this video is about crisis management and damage control. And so this is going to apply primarily to people that have had dogs that have either had one or more fights, or dogs that are about to have a fight, that you can just sense it, that they're on the precipice of a fight. So one of the things that I want you to keep in mind when you watch this video is I want you to keep the context of the video, and it is specifically related to people that have problems with dogs or feel that they're about to have a problem with a dog. Now, many of the things that I'm going to talk about are things that you can use for lesser issues. You can either use some or all of them. They can still apply and still help you gain control in other areas, but it's primarily related to a situation where you have to really shake things up. You have to have a little bit of a shock and awe in you in order to prevent something happening that's going to be detrimental to your pack, okay? You're not going to like all of it. I can tell you this already. I don't like a lot of what I've had to do in the past, especially before I was a trainer, how the things that I had to do in order to maintain control in my home. But you're going to like the things that I have to tell you much more than you're going to like another fight or the possibility of having to rehome or, God forbid, put down one of your dogs because it's gotten completely out of control, okay? So I've got sort of a bullet point type of presentation for you, and I'm also going to transcribe this. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that I've already transcribed it, and so you can refer back to that for notes. So what I want you to develop, first of all, is a command presence, all right? You know how much I believe in leadership. It's absolutely essential to running your home properly if you have dogs. Dogs thrive on leadership. Dogs care much more about leadership than they do affection. They're not primates. They don't do affection the same way we do. That's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. I've referred to my feelings about that many times, but the most important thing for you to remember is to develop a command presence, because you want your dogs to start looking up at you differently, because many times part of the reason, or all of the reason, that your dogs are having issues is because there is a leadership void in your home, and the dogs are jockeying for position they're jockeying for that position, okay, if that makes sense. So the first thing I'm going to tell you, do not give affection, okay? And I'm referring to human type affection, meaning petting your dog. I'm even referring to baby talk, because what we want to do is develop a situation where our dogs view us as strong leaders, and many times we can do something to a dog that we consider affection or showing the dog that we love them, but they misunderstand what we're doing because they don't live in that world where they hug and kiss and pet, okay? And so they'll misunderstand what we're trying to do, and they'll misinterpret it actually for weakness or softness, and we can't afford that if we have dogs that are about to fight or have fought in our own home, okay? So no baby talk, no affection. Now, I also don't want you to allow your dog to claim your space, and that can be a variety of different things, but a lot of times dogs will fight simply because one dog approaches the owner and another dog is already kind of up all in the owner, or sitting on their foot, or leaning against them, or standing in front of them, and you don't realize what's happening, but there is actually a communication going on between one of your dogs and your other dog about who owns who. So it's really important, if you're going to develop that command presence, to not allow dogs to do the things that in their natural world they would never do to the top dog, or the alpha, the leader, however you want to refer to it. The dogs would never allow that to take place in their own pack, in their natural world. And if somebody did do that, if a dog did do that, they would be reprimanded severely, or even executed or banished out of the pack if they actually came up and put pressure against the leader, touching them, sitting on them, body slamming them. None of that. Don't allow it. I want you to ask and get and demand an aura of respect around you. So the only way a dog can come in to your presence, can actually come in close to you, is by invitation only, okay? Now, I want you to be really consistent with your rules. So that means if let's say you have 2 or 3 dogs and one of your dogs is not a problem. Really important for you guys to keep everybody on the same page. Remember, this is crisis management. This is not what you're going to have to do forever and ever, usually, okay? But this is what you're going to have to do right now to achieve what you want, which is not to have another fight, or not to ever have a fight to begin with. And so if you have 3 dogs and you think, my clients have said this all the time to me, well, is it okay if such and such a dog doesn't have to do the same things that the dog is doing that you're training or trying to advise me what to do about? it is important because you want consistency in the pack. It's almost like having kids and allowing one kid to do something that you would never allow your other children to do. That's going to cause a big problem. Same thing with, at least during this period of time, the same thing for your pack. You want to keep everybody on the same page, keep the rules consistent. If you're not allowing the dogs on the sofa, which I would strongly advise against, in fact, I would tell you that's one of the bullet points. Do not let your dogs up on a physical position, either a bed or a sofa or a chair. They cannot be physically equal to you during this period of time. And that means all of your dogs, even if you've got a sweet dog that's old, never caused you any problems, that the other dogs don't have anything to do with it, stay consistent, okay, for this period of time. Crisis management, right? This is damage control. This is not everyday stuff. All right, let's see, my little notes here. I got this all written down so I don't forget anything. I want you to feed your dogs apart. This is not the time to experiment and see if you can feed your dogs next to each other. The reason for that, in the future, it would be great if you teach your dogs how to do that. I teach my dogs how to do that. It's a very valuable lesson for the dogs to be able to eat and not go over and grab another dog's food. But for the sake of peace in your home right now, don't give them one more thing to fight about. Simple logic, okay? Food it conditions the brain to be excited. And I don't care what it is, food, balls, toys, anything like that. But in this particular case, food will condition the brain to be excited. What comes before every act of aggression? What's the precursor for every act of aggression? Excitement. So let's not do that, okay? Let's feed the dogs separately for this period of time. I want you to walk the dogs together if you can, but that doesn't mean on, two flexi leads where they're going out 30 feet in front of you. This is only if you have that much control. Obviously, if they're totally have a bead out on each other and they're just constantly getting ready to spar, and right now you're having to play musical dogs or baby gates or whatever it is, then that's probably not going to be possible unless your spouse, your significant other, your friend, your roommate, whoever can help you do that. And if that's the case, it is beneficial to be able to walk those dogs in a migratory fashion under complete control in the same direction. That will help condition the dogs to be able to see that they actually can get along with each other for the sake of a walk, right? Because that's a very natural thing for dogs to do. If you don't think you can control it, or if you don't have help, don't do it. Simple as that. I want you to ask for everything on your terms. Everything. These are opportunities to train for you, okay? So when I'm training a dog, even if I've got a dog in that isn't a serious case, I will still teach that dog from the very beginning. The second the owner drops the dog off to me and gets out of the car, and I'm going to take that dog into my house through my office, I begin threshold work right there, right? So I ask the dog to wait before I open the first gate to get into my office, into the patio outside of my office, and then I ask them to wait, give me some eye contact before they go into my office. They don't have to do it 100% the first time. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's not that big of a deal, but I want to start off right away saying it's different here, all right? Things are different here. It doesn't work the same with me as it did with them. And so every time you're asking for something and getting it, it's one more way that you're establishing yourself in a position of leadership. It's one more way that you're being able to say to the dog, I want you to do this or not do that. And when they comply, that means that you became stronger, you became more of a person of respect in their eyes. So whether it's feeding them, making them sit and wait, giving you eye contact, putting the plate down, making them wait again. I do that a lot with my dogs. I don't just put the plate down. I ask a second time to wait. Whether it's getting into your car, making them wait, whether it's waiting until not allowing them to come towards you or to you without waiting for an invitation. All of those things make a huge difference. Everything needs to, you're not taking anything away from them. All you're doing is asking for everything you would normally give them on your terms, not theirs. They're not allowed to come and stick a nasty, slobbery ball in your lap and say, I want to play now. They're not allowed to do that. Everything has to be on your terms. So if you're still going to play that kind of game with your dog, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Wait until they're calm and completely relaxed, and then you decide when the time is to play. When you go out and play, don't play with both dogs at the same time, but that's a given. Play with that dog. You begin the play. You win the play. In other words, you wind up with the ball at the end. You decide when it's time to stop, and you put the ball away, and that's the way it works. Okay? They still get to play ball. It's just that they're doing it on your terms, not theirs. Keep in mind that leadership is a gift. Leadership is not punishment. In any sense of the word, it is not punishment. It's what your dogs thrive on. It's what your dogs crave. It's someone that's going to allow them to let go, to retire from this position that they can never handle, which is trying to jockey for the lead position in your home. It's never going to happen. They're domesticated animals. They're not equipped to handle a human household. So they're begging you, please just tell us what to do. That's, in most cases, many cases, why you're having a problem in the first place is because you've got dogs that it's not clear to them, for whatever reason, who's in charge, and so they're about to fight or have fought over that position, okay? Be 100% believe in this concept that I'm telling you, or this program that I'm telling you. 100% embrace it, believe in it. You can always change your mind down the road. You might think that half the things I told you are unnecessary, but if you really, really want to make a change in your dog, why not just embrace the program? This program that I've just given you, just embrace it 100%, believe in it 100%, don't question it. This is what I would do if you were my client and you came into my office today or tomorrow. This is what I would tell you to do. You can always change your mind down the road. If you go 2 or 3 weeks and you think this is all baloney, throw it out. Doesn't matter. I'm just here to share information with you. Take it or leave it, take a little bit of it, take a lot of it, take all of it, doesn't really matter. Also, understand that the only way you're going to be able to get change in your home between 2 or more of your dogs is if you change things in your home. You can't just continue the way things are and just hope and pray and cross your fingers that it never happens again, or that it never happens in the first place. If there's something that's brewing, that's about to occur, I promise you at some point it's going to snap and it's going to happen, unless you take measures right now to keep that from happening. And once it happens, it's very difficult to go back to the old ways. It can be done. You can get them to get along again. If you couldn't, I wouldn't be in business. I wouldn't be able to be a trainer, because that's what I teach people to do. But it's so much better if you just insert yourself now in between this situation and make change happen, okay? Now, this is the most important part of the whole thing. Once you begin to see change, let's say that you accept all this, you start to do all this and work on things the way I've suggested that you do. Once you start seeing change, stick with the program, okay? One of the biggest problems that I find are people that I give them a way to go. Everything is going great. It's golden. I call and I check in with my clients. 2-3 months down the road, things are still going great, and then about 6 months later, they might call and say, well, everything fell apart, they had another fight, or something happened, whatever it is, something happens. And what ends up happening, usually after I interview them and I try to find out exactly what went on, what went wrong, is they tell me, well, you know, they were doing so well that we decided it was okay for them to get back in bed with us, or it was okay for them to walk in front of us, or, you know, they just seemed like they were doing so much better. That's complacency, and that's when you have a problem. If the things that you're doing are keeping your home peaceful, then continue to do the things that you're doing. It's almost like medication, right? Your doctor gives you a pill and says, if you take this pill, you'll never have a heart attack. You start feeling so much better, you decide not to take the pill anymore, and you have a heart attack. You don't want that to happen, okay? Like, same thing for workouts. You work out, you get fit, and then you go, well, I'm fit, I guess I don't have to go to the gym anymore. It doesn't work that way. You have to avoid complacency at all cost, okay? I said that was the last thing, but it's not. Actually, I want you to work your dog on anything. Just make yourself relevant to your dog by asking him to do things throughout the day. Just go out and train him. Ask him to sit. Ask him to lay down. Ask him to go to a place. Just do work with him. Make yourself relevant at all times. And that's going to also give you a better position of authority. You've got to be respected. You've got to be considered an authority figure, or there's no way on earth you're going to be able to resolve this situation. Okay? All right. That's all I have to say about that for now. And I'm going to, as I said, going to put this on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube now, then I would really love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel, and if you would like my channel, because that makes me motivated to do more of these videos, okay? All right, you guys. Talk soon. Bye.